Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Why Teacher. In today's episode, we're going to be sharing different ways that you can improve your children's analytical skills. So let's start. So when it comes to a child's analytical skills and reflecting back on the Bloom's taxonomy, which addresses a child's remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creative skills, I think project-based learning falls wonderfully in that space. So we want our children to be engaging their thinking skills when they are analyzing or when we want to improve their analysis. So I believe strongly that project work and project allocation to children is the best way to bring together all their thinking skills in a way that they're able to justify, they're able to validate, they're able to authenticate their ideas and thoughts. To strengthen this concept further, you'd put your children into groups because group work also promotes critical thinking. Now, when you have children of different abilities, different capacities placed together in a group, they will share their own ideas, they will share their own opinions, they will fall into conflict, they will resolve that conflict, they'll be able to look at the concept that they are addressing through their project in different ways. And this will bring in that element of inclusion where you want to find the best possible solution, and that comes through when you have different voices engaged and involved. So putting girls and boys together, getting children of different abilities together, getting children of different cultures and nationalities together is a brilliant way to bring in that element of inclusion into your project work. So once you've got this diverse group of learners together, you can give them any kind of a project, that addresses their critical thinking skills. So as a language teacher, I loved engaging anything and everything outside the curriculum when it came to project work. So I wanted them to look around. I wanted them to see that, learning comes from other spaces as well. So a lot of times I would give them a current affairs news article to decode, or I'd give them one-liners from books to decode, or I'd give them, quotes from famous people. And I found this to be the most interesting one because as a teacher who also wanted to build children's character and make it part of our moral education, I would pick up different character traits and, see what popular or famous people have said about it. So it was a little bit of work from my side where I had to create, small booklets like these. So I just wanted to share some of these with you today. So, for example, the theme for 1 week was persistence. So I went on to look at, different quotes on persistence. So Albert Einstein once said, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." Now I would give this to a group of children and ask them to think about what that really means. And it was interesting to see how different groups looked at persistence in so many different ways. So each group would have a different kind of a quote. Children would look at the different quotes and, analyze, think about what that really implies. And they would have discussions. And this was a short exercise that I would do on a daily basis with them in the morning. So, like you have your morning circle time, or people tell you to have a focus time with your children. So this activity would really get them engaged with each other first thing in the morning. And a lot of times we want children to be independent in the morning and just be focused on the teacher. But I think it works well the other way around. If you enter the classroom, get them into groups and ask them to start having a conversation with each other, I think they all together get into that mood to learn, which is far more important than them just being focused on the teacher. At the end of the day, what you're really trying to address is children trying to look at things differently, trying to look at different ways that people think. And that conversation, that important conversation and dialogue that one must always promote when it comes to problem solving, when it comes to finding solutions. This is one of the most important skills that a child needs to acquire and needs to strengthen as they age. So it's not something that you do once, it's something that you have to continuously do in school to ensure that this child that we've built, this child that we've developed, this child that we have helped evolve, has evolved as a good human being who is always ready to find answers. Another thing that I wanted to highlight through this project was that as a teacher in the UAE, you are engaged with the UAE's national agenda, and the national agenda for education has different kinds of indicators. So as a teacher, I wanted to make sure that I meet some of those indicators through this project. So on my booklet itself, I marked the UAE's national agenda parameters, which were sharing knowledge, motivating others to meet new challenges, setting high expectations, accepting different perspectives, move forward together, leaving no one behind, strong and meaningful dialogue, and taking responsibility for our own learning. So these were just some of the indicators that met this specific activity. So as a teacher, while you are looking at your curriculum, while you're looking at how effectively you can implement the curriculum, it is also about building individuals for a country. It's about understanding the needs of the country and the culture that surrounds them. So all of these indicators fell well within that agenda. And I wanted to just read out one of the group's reflection on one of the quotes that we did on self-reflection. So the quote was, "The greatest of faults is to be conscious of none." And this is what the children interpreted. This quote means that even if you made a mistake, don't be ignorant about it. You need to admit that you did it and try to solve it. We have to always be trustworthy to both ourselves and the community of people around us. You have to be honest with yourself, as in self-reflection, you should always show the truth to yourself and others, because being ignorant and not admitting your mistakes is worse than making mistakes. Now, I thought this was a wow interpretation of this quote. In the end, I just want to say that if you want your children to improve their critical thinking skills and for them to become analytical thinkers, know that this is an ongoing process that you need to address vigilantly every single day as a parent and as a teacher. The cracking critical codes is an example of just one activity that I used to do on a daily basis with my children to ensure that their stamina for thinking improves, with time, and it gives them the opportunity to work together with their friends. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. For feedback, please do leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. Allah Hafiz.